it's affected my life in most everything that I do. I remembered hearing about AIDS in the early 80s. I was not out. I was married. It was a terrifying time. I was in the military. I was called into my commander's office, and they told me that I had a disease, and I was flown out on a medical transport in isolation. When I was diagnosed, it wasn't even HIV, it was HTLV-3 infected. The way I acted to the diagnosis was I shut down and I started drinking. From that day on, I lived in the hospital for a year and I drank. I was 22 or 23 years old, and you know, I knew that I'd never see 30. There was no question about that, and I doubted I'd see 25. I left the military. They preferred to have us out of the military than to have to deal with us. I got retired. I was stopping in Palm Springs, spend the night and have a drink with some friends on my way back to Texas where I was living, and I met Steve and I never left. It was my first out gay relationship. It was rough. It was a hard transition to go from a straight guy to a gay guy, to go from the military to not being in the military. Steve got sick. He was in May, diagnosed in September, and his health deteriorated very quickly. While he was sick, his family, sister asked if she could take me to lunch. While she took me to lunch, his family went into our house and took all the things of his that were of value. At that time, there were no domestic partnerships, there were no civil marriage, there was no regular marriage, so there were no rights. When Steve passed away, I basically became homeless. Travis and I met at a club in West Hollywood. It'll be 15 years this June, and I was probably the happiest I'd ever been in my whole life. Travis was diagnosed during our relationship. He became HIV positive after we were together. It strained our relationship, and I was terrified because I had already lost somebody to AIDS. To be in a relationship with somebody who was positive again made me very uneasy. Travis and I got married on November 1st, 2008. Being able to marry Travis has been the greatest gift I've ever gotten in my adult life. My military health benefits can be accessed by any member of my family, like my ex-wife, but cannot be accessed by my own husband. That inequality makes me angry. This is the first time in my life where I've been really angry. Travis and I have both been positive long enough that it's just who we are. There's pills in the medicine cabinet, and there's doctor's appointments, and there's bills to be paid about it. But as far as the rest of it goes, those are just reminders. People are living long, healthy lives today. It is a completely different experience. I was diagnosed in the 80s when people were dying, so we had to save each other, and it really moved me. It just made me realize that things are different. I think we've really shown who we are. We've shown that we are fighters. We stood up and we took care of our own. And I believe that one of the positive things that's come out of the 80s and the AIDS crisis is that it showed us to be who we really are. It showed the best of us.